Hi everyone. There are hundreds, maybe even thousands of ways to book high-ticket calls and clients, but today we're going to focus more on the 5 steps to get that done. Now, I've mentioned before that at the end of the day, there are really only 2 things that you need to book calls or clients or to grow a business, and those 2 things are number 1, to have an offer, and number 2, to drive traffic. So your goal is to rub your offer up against the market. But today we're going to expand on that just a little bit. So let's go ahead and jump right in to the 5 steps to book high ticket discovery calls. So the first step or thing you'll need is the actual physical equipment to get started. Now, luckily, 1, this isn't much, and 2, you probably already have most of these things. So as you may have guessed, these physical equipment factors include having a good Wi-Fi, good enough Wi-Fi connection, a solid webcam, at least some decent attire or clothing to have in your video calls, and so forth like that. So if you need to buy a new webcam or an Ethernet cord or whatever, just spend the few dollars, it will be worth it. The next step or thing you'll need to book consistent high-ticket discovery calls is web or digital assets. Now, we just mentioned physical equipment, but of course, you're also going to need digital resources and tools as well. Now, it's definitely easy to go overboard with the amount of web tools that you buy or collect, but really, we're just going to focus on the ones that are necessary. Now, the first and probably most important web tool that you will need is a website. You can also kind of interpret this as a funnel or web pages. In other words, you want a place for leads to be able to go to book a call, learn more about you, and stuff like that. Speaking of booking calls, you will also need some type of call booking mechanism. Now, there's a few that kind of do a few things like Acuity or Calendly or even Honeybook. But the point is that you generally want to have an intake form where you learn a little bit more about them. And of course, you want to give them an opportunity, or you want to give them a calendar where they can book a call. The next step to book high ticket discovery calls is to build trust and qualify your traffic and leads. Now, this step is extremely important for pretty much every business and offer and funnel. Now, I've made other videos talking about how to build trust, including in this video here, but the point is that there are over 20 ways to build semi-immediate trust with your audience. The second half of this step is to qualify your traffic and leads, aka to aggressively filter them. Building trust and aggressively filtering your audience for high-ticket spenders actually overlaps a pretty good amount. The next step to book high-ticket discovery calls is to have a compelling offer and message. Now, this step is often overlooked, which is to have and make an offer. This means that you want to actually tell people, hey, book a call if you want this. But maybe more importantly, and often ignored more than you might expect, is to actually make the offer. So when you're on the call, when you're in person, when you're in whatever situation or conversation you are dealing with, you actually want to have the bravery, let's say, to actually risk rejection and make your offer. And the last step to book consistent high-ticket discovery calls is probably the same for every business of every kind, which is to drive qualified traffic. In other words, get the attention and eyeballs of your target market. Now, driving traffic is actually one of the biggest problems for new and existing businesses. So like I mentioned, driving traffic is just getting attention, attracting eyeballs, because whether you have the best product or service or offer in the world, on earth, or in the universe, it doesn't matter if nobody knows about it. Now, I've already made a few videos on how to drive free and paid traffic, but just to summarize there, a few options that you have are to use referrals. search engine optimization like on Google. You can use advertising. You can use content marketing on social media. You can use your personal Facebook profile and your network. So those are just a few examples, but like I mentioned earlier, there are literally hundreds of traffic channels. And the absolute most important step you can take to book consistent high-ticket calls and clients is to hit the like button and subscribe below. If you learned something interesting today, it does help a lot. For more help booking high-ticket discovery calls and clients, then join my free 14-day Book More Calls challenge below. Well, that wraps us up for today. Thanks everyone for stopping by, and I'll see you on the next one.